Hi, Sam. Just taking a look at your brochure. I'm kind of seeing some issues with it, but I'm going to give you till the end of the weekend, which is December 12th, I believe, to make these changes in this video, and then I can update your grade, which you're probably going to want to do that because I don't think your grade's going to be awesome. So it looks like you did a couple file packages. I've got a lot of things in here. I don't think I need this second folder. I would just need you to zip this folder and submit one of these. And I don't need the IDML file, so you can just trash that. Or when you export, when you do a file package, just uncheck the little box that says include IDML. So I just need the IND, the PDF, the fonts, and the links, which are great. You do have your crop marks and your bleeds included in your PDF, which is good. It looks like your document is 12.8 by 9.58, so I'm not quite sure if this is a letter size brochure or not. I'm not quite sure. I think it probably is. It's hard for me to tell. So I'm opening up your document. It looks like you have some guides in here for 4 panels, which it's not looking like a 4-panel brochure to me, though. It's looking like a just a half fold, 8.5 by 11, regular computer-sized piece of paper, folded in half. And the one thing that I'm noticing about your document right away is that it's set up in picas and not inches. So if we go to, let's see here, if we go to InDesign, Preferences, and go to Units and Increments, we can put this, we just need to go to Units and Increments, and we need to put horizontal in inches and vertical in inches. I think maybe when you went to set up your document, you just didn't put it in the right thing. So let's do File Document Setup. If I show this to you now that I've done that, it is actually 8.5 by 11. So you did choose letter, which is good, but your bleeds are way too big. So you have them at 0.25, and it needs to be 0.125. Now I'll push the link button a couple times to make sure that all of it fills in, and push OK. So now your bleeds are looking a little bit more normal. And I'm guessing this is an 8.5 by 11 just folded in half, which is totally fine. So I'm just going to go over some of the issues that the file has. So if I go around and just look at these files, I have a link. Make sure you're in Essentials Classic. If you're not, go to Windows, Window, Workspace, Essentials Classic. If you have to reset your Essentials Classic, that's fine. You may have to reset it, but just make sure that the Properties panel is open as well. So you'll have to go back into Window and then go to Properties, and let's just throw Properties underneath Swatches. I don't need the CC library open right now. And then let's pop this out. Okay, now we should be in the same workspace. So if we go to Properties, actually I don't really want Properties open. Click on the images. Let's go to the Links panel. If you don't have the Links panel open, it should be, but go to Window Links if it's not open. And I'm just going to start looking at your images. So if we drag this out down here, we can see the effective PPI of this logo is 112, which is really not high enough. So MoFat Mercantile from Craig, Colorado. Let's look this up online. I probably spelled it wrong. Now let's go to images and let's look at this image. Okay, it's pretty blurry. I do like that. Too bad they don't have a higher resolution image of their logo. This might be... Okay, I can see why you used the one that you did, because they don't have anything online that's like usable really. This one does say that it's fairly large. If we control click on it, open it in a new tab, we can save image to downloads. I think that's probably the same exact one that you've used. But you're also in RGB. So every image in here needs to be in RGB. Okay, and it looks like this is inside of this container. So I can take the white arrow tool and do Command C, and then click out of there and do a Command V to get it separate, I think. Unless I'm in some kind of weird layer. Yes, I am. I'm going to put it up in here. So I'm going to add that into that layer. And then I'm going to delete it out of the background color because I think it was included in this box here. So I have this separate now. I'm going to use my black arrow tool. I'm going to use actually the free transform tool, and I'm just going to size it down to a size where it's closer to 300 ppi, which is what I need it to be to print clearly. It's going to have to get really small if we want to use this. One thing that could be done is we could open up an Illustrator document and try to trace it and then place it. I'm going to pause the video. Right now I'm in Illustrator. I'm going to try and trace this thing that you've found online. 3x3 CMYK color raster effect should be on high when we create this document. So we want to create a new document and then do a file place of that logo that we pulled. I really don't think this is going to trace very well because even when I'm pulling it in here, it looks blurry. But, if it was a little bit higher quality, we probably could have gotten away with it. So if we do an image trace, no, that's not going to do it. No, it's just not going to be able to do it. It's too low res of an image. But, we could try to keep working with this and just sizing it down with the free transform tool until it's 300 or close to, even if it's close to 250, I can probably make it even a little bit bigger than this. 250 will work, which means it's about 1 by 1 at 250 pretty much, 1 inch by 1 inch. So we can kind of just try and use it small. Oops, I didn't mean to make a copy of it. Okay, so I'm just going to center it. Doesn't look as good as it did, but you can still use it. And then let's just center this text. Is this an image or is this text? Okay, it is actually text. I like the text that you chose. I'm going to push shift on all of this and then just center align it up here. You can also use the alignment panel in the properties. The properties panel does have an alignment area. I just am not seeing it right now for some reason. Here it is. So we can do the center, align through the center. Probably want to do it on this one too, honestly, just to make sure everything's completely centered. This looks maybe like it's not centered, so let's center that. Another issue that I'm noticing too with this is the edge of the document, that's the bleed, so we want to make sure that that's going to the edge of the document and the fold line there. Also, like this color should probably be a little bit darker. We can double click on it and then maybe just add in just make it, I don't know, darker somehow. We can also add in more black by just this. I don't know, that might be way too much black, but maybe something like that. Still neutral, but this image is very blurry. And, it might help to just size it way down. So using the white arrow tool, we're going to try and size down this image so that it's about as small as we can get it. I don't know if this looks like a little bit of a squish circle. I think let's just make it more of a perfect circle. Something like that, maybe. Something a little bit closer to a perfect circle, maybe. And let's center it too, because I think that's going to look a little bit better. And this needs to be centered inside of the area as well. So where we'd actually, there we go. And that's a little close to the edge, so we want to bump that down. And bump this down a little bit. And let's do a double click in there and then do a Command A to select all. And then let's go into the properties panel here and let's just scroll down underneath paragraph and uncheck hyphenate because we do not want any hyphenation here. Another thing that might look nice is justifying this text. It makes it look a little bit more square. I'm not loving that actually. I think the left align actually works pretty well. And then here's the review that you put into your document. And that's looking pretty good. I think maybe just bumping it down so there's a little bit more space might be good. And you can even make this a little bit wider. And also this is right on the fold line, so we want to kind of center this so that this space and this space are about the same. There. And then this can line up on that edge and on this edge too. And then this also needs to be, oops, let's triple click in there and uncheck the hyphenate. Okay, that's looking a little better. And I don't know what the leading is on this. I think, let's check. It's 20 and this one is 16. So let's maybe like make this 18. Because I actually like the more space between the lines. I think you're probably just trying to make sure you have enough space for everything. So I'm going to make this a little bigger and then put in a couple returns to get it. There we go. And let's actually make this image smaller. And I didn't actually check the effective PPI on this either, so I need to do that. I did size it down, but I didn't actually make sure that it's looking good in the links panel. So it's still really low. So we need to size this down too a lot to be able to use it to where it's at least 250. It should really actually for print be 300, but 250 will typically work. That's close enough. So that is about 2.275 by 1.5 inches. So let's center that in the panel there itself. Bring this up. So there's plenty of room now that we've actually made that smaller. So that actually worked out okay. So maybe something like that might be. I'm gonna line these bottom edges up on these two text boxes, and maybe just center this in the space, and maybe knock this down a few so that it's centered too in here. Just have a nice spacing in between all of our elements here. So that's looking a little tighter, isn't it? We don't want to get too close to the edges ever, so I did bump that one down a little bit. I think that's going to work better. You put an underline on this one. I don't think maybe you should have. It's kind of making it look kind of busy, so let's just try to keep it consistent. If you put an underline on one, then you should definitely put an underline on the other box. And I'm not quite sure what the heck is going on with this box, but I might just do a Command A, Command C, and then just create a totally new text box, because that one was acting really goofy. I don't know what is going on. Okay. Now, delete that. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes, but it's probably going to end up going over. I want to keep this spacing here pretty much the same on the second page, so let's just kind of bring that over. Let's bring this here. We don't want to get too close to the edge, but I think we're about the same as we did on that page. And then we just want to line these up. We can also use the alignment down in here as well. I just like to use it up here because it's a little bit faster. And then let's maybe just kind of, maybe we'll align it to this top image. And this could be aligned probably to this. Hopefully these are the same. Let's see here. So this size is larger. This size is sort of medium size. So maybe this should be the same size as this, which it's not. So we probably want to size this one down to 26 so that it's the same size. And maybe this should be the same size then. This is at 21. You could put this on 2 lines and make it 26 if you wanted to really have you know, these things to be totally consistent across the board. This is, what is this? 23. Or I'm not quite sure what it is actually. Let's make it purposely look a lot smaller than the other. And then this one can be the same size. So 20. So we want to use the same sizes throughout. And then this one needs to be 26 because the other one is, which it is already, okay. And then we want to make sure that this has the same leading as this, which is 18. So I want to match that up as best we can. And I've actually gone ahead and made this 18 as well at 12 point. And then we just want to have this be at 26 as well, which it is. And then we want to line these up this way. And then one thing to look at is all your images too. So this is an RGB, these images, if we look in the links panel, it's an RGB. So we want to control click on these, edit with Photoshop, open them up in Photoshop, and then do image mode, CMYK color, Command S to save that. You can save over the old file, or you can just save it the